Sure, I'd be happy to. We do have a small crawfish segment.
And will you repeat the question real quickly?
That's right, I forgot to do that.
That's all right. I was supposed to remind you all before we started this part.
Well, first of all, we all have to say war eagle, but that's dangerous to do in Arkansas, so maybe we shouldn't do that. Anyway, the question was related to the crawfish and crawfish farming in the state of Arkansas, and to what extent are we raising crawfish in the state of Arkansas. Most people know that the bulk of crawfish production across the United States is in Louisiana. That's where it started. But we do have crawfish farmers in the state of Arkansas. We have right now the majority of our crawfish production is concentrated up in the northeast part of the state, up in the Paragould area. There are several farms up there that are doing an excellent job. If you're driving through Paragould, you really should stop off and eat some of their crawfish. You can eat it standing up. They serve you very quickly. You can eat in 5 minutes, and they'll pack up crawfish, and you can take it on along with you wherever you're headed to and wherever you're driving to. They have an excellent marketing plan and program, so they do a very, very good job. In the past, we had some crawfish down in the Dumas area and south of there, but those farms have gone out of business. In that part of the state, there's sort of a conflict over labor, that the people raising crawfish down in the southeast part of the state, the crop is coming off in the spring is when they had to harvest, but it hit in Arkansas the exact same time that row crop farmers have to get their crops in the fields. And so the labor in crawfish farming in that part of the state was all from the wives of farmers who are out planting in the fields. And they had some real interesting stories. Have you ever seen crawfish being harvested? Well, a crawfish pond basically... The way they're raised is you pump up a pond with some water, but before pumping it up, you plant some kind of a crop like rice or milo or something like that, and then you pump it up with about a foot of water. The crawfish are underground over the dry part of the year, and you pump it up in the fall, and then they come up and they graze on the rice or the milo, whatever it is. They're actually eating the bacteria that are decomposing the plants, is where they get their nutrition from. So they grow over the winter, and then they're harvested in the spring. But imagine in southern Arkansas in April and May right now, walking through a foot of water that still has a lot of decaying weeds, and there are traps out there. So the person in the front of the boat just grabbing these traps and dumping it in the back without looking at what's ending up in the boat. And the person in the back of the boat then has to pick out the crawfish. Well, guess what else is coming out in those traps? And if you ever do that, you're dealing with an awful lot of snakes that are thrown in the boat. And after a while, a lot of these wives just got tired of it in the southeast part of the state. Now, up in the northeast part, their growing season for row crops is a little different. We have some really well-managed, nice farms up there that are growing a lot of crawfish and doing an excellent job marketing. We can get a higher price in Arkansas for crawfish than they can in Louisiana. You pay that price, don't you? We appreciate your support.
A question over here.
I have a related question here. A few years ago, someone was raising shrimp in Arkansas. Is anyone doing shrimp aquaculture in Arkansas today?
Today, I'm sure it's too cold outside for any shrimp. I haven't heard of anybody looking to stock a crop of shrimp this year. We had several years ago several people raising shrimp. These shrimp were marine shrimp. They're the same shrimp that you would get at Red Lobster. It is a marine species, but these species can acclimate down to not entirely fresh water, but fairly close to fresh water, and they can feed and grow and that sort of thing. It's definitely possible to raise them in Arkansas. The trick is marketing. The problem is marketing, because they're coming out with a relatively small quantity. The crop has to come out in September. We've done some research with shrimp at UAPB, and it's always the first time you do it. You have great stories to tell afterwards, but we just knew that we would be able to continue to raise them until the very end of September, and we organize a major field day where we invite lots of farmers and lots of people from the public to show them all of our great research and all of that. We were trying to keep them in the ponds until the field day, and of course we had a major cold snap, and we had to round everybody up late on a Friday night with headlights out there trying to pick up these shrimp before they died. These marine shrimp are a tropical species, so when it gets cold, they're going to die over the winter. So the whole crop is going to come out at one time. You have to have a marketing system set up to be able to move them all at once, to be able to sell them and move them. You can grow a nice large shrimp in Arkansas that's a beautiful product that brings a higher price, but you're still competing with that very low priced product that's coming in from all over the world, from Vietnam and Thailand and Latin America and that sort of thing. So it's difficult. The one farmer was having some success, partnered actually with a Brave New Restaurant here in Little Rock, doing an excellent job with it, but then they had some family issues and with some health issues with a relative in the family, and he had to kind of back off in his marketing effort to take care of the family business. And so I've heard they've finished selling off their crop, but I have not heard yet if anybody plans to restock this year.